What's going on, everybody? This week is going to be a little bit different. There wasn't really time to get a full video done in the way that I would like it to be done. With the holidays, I know not everybody celebrates the holiday, but we do get days off here in the States. And so it's just going to be busy hanging out with family and eating food. And yeah, there's just less time in the week. And I didn't want to not make a video. I've been thinking a lot about what speedrunning is and where I started with speedrunning and the perception there. I've seen so many people say they can't speedrun, they're not good enough at games. Whatever the reasoning is, there's this perception that people who speedrun are some sort of different thing. Like people who speedrun are a different type of gamer. The reality is anybody can learn to speedrun. Anybody. Anyone can learn to speedrun if that's what you want to do. There's no real secret. The only secret is putting in the time and effort, being willing to practice and get better, which goes for anything that's difficult to do. You don't start out being the best. Now, granted, some people will learn more quickly than others. Like, that's just how it is. Some people will pick things up more quickly, which a lot of speedrunning tends to be finding how you best break the run down to get the goal time that you are shooting for. I remember I started speedrunning with Ninja Gaiden 1, and it was more that I wanted to just learn to beat it at first, and I played it and played it and played it. Went in completely blind. It took me about 2 weeks to beat Ninja Gaiden 1 the first time. I was very stubborn. I am very stubborn. Not was, I am very stubborn. And so anytime that I took a death on the last bosses, when you take a death on the last boss, you get sent back to the start of Act 6. Anytime I would take a death, I would just restart the game. I'd reset. I wouldn't play back through to try to beat it. I wanted to beat the game without getting sent back in 6-1. For whatever reason, that was my initial goal. Like I knew about speedrunning. I was aware of what speedrunning is. So when I finally beat the game, I had this feeling like I could do that faster. But that's when I was introduced to a speedrunner named Arcus, one of my friends who actually is the reason I started speedrunning really in the first place, or wanted to beat old games in the first place. Matteo Plays Retro. He introduced me to speedrunning in a way that seemed accessible. He would stream and just beat games. And his suggestion to me was to pick a game that I didn't mind playing over and over. A game that I loved enough that I could just sit and play it. And I told him I wanted to play Ninja Gaiden, which he laughed. He was like, "All right, man, you're going straight for it. You're picking a hard game to start with." I was like, "Well, it's a game that I know I don't mind failing in over and over, and I just actually enjoy playing it." I started watching Arcus's Ninja Gaiden speedruns. Started watching him live and taking notes and actually learning the run. And I started to implement more speedrun strats, and my time started to get lower and lower. I realized that not only was speedrunning fun, but it was really an easier way to learn to beat games casually. Even if you don't want to speedrun, you can take some speedrun strats to then implement in a casual playthrough and make your life easier, which I thought was really cool. By the time I had learned Ninja Gaiden and I got down, I started to take the tools that I had learned from Ninja Gaiden and apply them to other games. And I started to realize that for myself, a lot of the early times that I would get were just based on not being scared of failure. I've seen many people that take different approaches. There's no one right way. But I have recognized that a thing that tends to hold people back early on in speedruns is the fear of failure. Not trying specific strats, not trying certain things because they don't want to fail. You don't want to lose a run, right? To that, I would say it really depends on your goal. If you have a goal time that's set, like say you're playing Ninja Gaiden and you want to get a ninja license. A ninja license means anything faster than 12 minutes and 30 seconds in Ninja Gaiden. That's a ninja license. If you want to get a ninja license, then really you only have to decide what strats work for your play style that will then add up to getting to the time of 12 minutes and 29 seconds or faster. You don't have to do all the things, right? But to know what those things are, it's not a bad idea to just try them. You can iron out and find out what works for you, and then just take the strats that work for your playstyle to get that goal time. Now, if you don't have a goal time and you're just playing it to play it and you want to get better at it and you want to get the run, or you have an idea in your mind where you want the perfect run, then maybe just start implementing all the strats right away, because you're going to fail. You're going to fail at them. It's just an inevitability. Anything that you want to get good at is going to require some failure. At least if it's worth getting good at, it's going to take failure. The first step to getting good at something is first to be bad at it, and sometimes being really bad at it. Anybody can learn to speedrun. If you are interested in speedrunning at all, even a little bit, I would say try it. Find a game you love, sit down, give it a shot. If you want to learn the strats right away, then watch somebody and learn the strats through watching other people who have already figured it out. Or you can play the game casually and then just slowly over time play it more casually or more quickly casually, and just iron out strats as you play it casually. And then you can get to a point where you understand the mechanics enough that it's easier to implement speedrun strats. Buddha, this dog. Do you speedrun? Have you ever considered speedrunning? If you were to speedrun, let's say you don't speedrun right now. If you were to start speedrunning, what game would you start with? Or if you do speedrun, what was the game that got you into speedrunning? Thank you all for hanging out with me. My name is Stuff is Stuff, and I'll see you next time.